Good evening, everybody. Today is a very, very special day because it's World Environment Day. And I think all of us who are watching this and the people who will participate in this will all agree that it's so important to be conscious now, especially what's happening. And in that context, Sree, a very good friend of mine, who is an editor of a premier magazine in India for wildlife and conservation, called me up to say, why don't we do this chat in Adda? She's been watching some of ours, and I said, of course, let's do that. And so she said that, can we do it on your Facebook page? I said, yeah. So it's a unique situation. Actually, she's the one who's hosting, but I have given my house for her to host this conversation. But I must tell you guys that if technology works and if network is through, very soon Dhritiman Mukherjee will be joining us, who is one of India's foremost and most celebrated wildlife and photographers and naturalists. But for now, I think it's important to welcome Sree Nandy. So let's get her on board. Hi, Sree.
Hi, Shantanu. Very good evening.
So before I give over the microphone to you, because you're hosting this, actually, I think eventually what will happen, Sree, will be co-hosting this, you and me.
Kind of.
But first and foremost, first, congratulations for an incredibly beautiful magazine, SaevUs, and I have a photograph here. It's a labor of hard work, and I know what all has gone behind it. So just to give in perspectives, I want to tell people that Sree is an engineer by profession. She's married to Shantanu, who is also an engineer by profession. Both husband and wife, they quit their job, and this is their passion now. This is what they're doing, and which is quite unbelievable. They have a third partner, Sandeep, who is a fitness freak in Delhi. But all three of them passionately working, and this is where it was Sree's house where I met Dhritiman for the first time, and this whole 100 days in Himalayas actually was a culmination of that. But first and foremost, I think Sree's story is very inspiring for all of us, which we'll get to know. But now, because it's Sree's show, and also welcome all the SaevUs and wildlife and fans who are part of this show have come to say that it's such a special moment that usually, I think me, Sree, and Dhritiman have never come together on any social media platform like a live thing, and I'm so excited about this. Over to you, Sree.
Thanks, Shantanu. So today I'm going to hijack your favorite line that all you need to do is listen. So I am going to do the listening part, and with the people like Dhritiman and you being there on World Environment Day, I think you need to do more of the talking. So the whole idea of this session is based out of a very realization that I've had in my last 8 years with SaevUs, is that conservation is considered to be a very niche thing, and we take pride in that. I have always felt that it is important for conservation to go mainstream and to have this bridge between the niche world and the mainstream world. We need voices. And you are one of those voices, because you are important, because you are not a celebrity poster boy for conservation. I know that you have spent chunks of your time, you've taken time out of your work to be in nature, to do things that possibly conservationists haven't done in the kind of time you have devoted. So that makes it a very special interaction. So good evening to everybody who's joined in. Shantanu's fans, of course, our SaevUs fraternity, and Dhritiman's fans who might have just been informed and will be joining in now. So we are going to have an Adda. And Adda in the Bengali parlance is a freewheeling chat. It's supposed to be an exchange of ideas. And too much of Adda is considered bad for health among Bengali mouths. So you can brace yourself. It's going to be a session from the heart. So Shantanu, let me start with a question that possibly everyone wants to ask you. So here's this hotshot music composer, award winner, celebrity, judge in reality shows, holding concerts, doing everything. What is it that takes you out of your work to spend time in nature? Is it because there's a boredom sometimes churning out music? Is it because you live in a make-believe world? You want to go for a reality check? Or you just want to escape? What is it that takes you out to nature?
Actually, Sree, it's all of that. But if I was to really sum it up, it's oxygen. Oxygen physically and oxygen intellectually. Because, in nature, Sree, there is no superstars and celebrities. The tiger doesn't feel he's a dude. The most prettiest flower in the forest doesn't feel he's a diva. And that is the innocence which I love. They are who they are, and they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
And I think for me, it's not conservation is a word which has come very recently in my life, Sree. I just love them, so I used to go there. There was no reason. It's now that a purpose and all that is happening. But before it was not all of that. It was just love the mountains, love the crisp air, love the sunrise, love the small birds tweeting in the morning, love the footprints of a large mammal. And that's how it started. And I think if you take away the conservation away from me, the word, I still will continue to do what I'm doing.
You anyway have a connect with this outdoors. You've always had, right? Your skydiving video is one which has put it in my bucket list. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to garner courage to jump out from there, but it's inspiring. See, I even remember this story when you were coming to Ranthambore for a SaevUs function, and I think you felt that the driver was drunk. And from Jaipur, you just jumped into the car, and the 4.5 hours of drive. I mean, we had this celebrity driving down himself with the driver being taken out of the car. So you have a love for adventure and outdoors. And you think that has kind of connected you to be in nature in some way, or not?
Yeah, all of that. I think for me, Sree, primarily it's stories. I love stories. I love people's stories. And I feel that the further away from the urban world I go, from big cities I go, to smaller places, I find more fascinating stories. And these smaller places are usually in a forest, near a jungle, near the mountains, near a sea, near a river, near the nature. And that's when I find fascinating stories. So you can say in many ways, like a bee collector, a honey collector, I'm a story collector. I like collect stories as I go along. And that is what attracts me. Both human interest stories.
So do they make their way into the music?
They do. In fact, that song, "Beti hawa saath tha wo, udti patang saath tha wo, kahan gaya use dhoondo." Now, this line cannot come if you don't understand what nature is.
Completely agree with you. And it shows in your composition. That even customers, that Parinita song, it somehow even if you close your eyes, you know that it's the toy train and it's winding through the hills. I mean, you can get the feel of it.
So Sree, it's a very beautiful point you've raised. What happens is that as a artist, my job is to when I'm working in the movies, my job is to create through the music the sense and illusion of that world. So if it's Kastomaja, through my music, I have to feel a toy train, Darjeeling. When it's Baitiwata Thabo, that feeling that two friends are searching for their friend in Ladakh. But my thing is that once the movie is over, I want to go and see these places, Sree.
Right.
Music aside, I now want to go and see the world that I had created. And that is what I don't stop it at creating the song. Now I want the real stuff. I want to go. I want to smell the morning dew, the eucalyptus. I still remember Sree with Dhritiman when I had gone for 100 days in Himalayas, and we were getting into from Kalimpong, getting into Darjeeling. Kuasha, just that mist, that bheja, that moist smell. It was so invigorating that I stopped the car.
Yes.
I got out and I just took a lungful of this. So what happens is, Sree, I'm just giving oxygen to my senses. Who knows when next in my life there will be a situation in a movie where I have to create a song where the characters are going through a misty forest. I know exactly what it feels like. So
You live the experience.
you
It
live
helps.
that experience.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah.
And it really comes out, Shantanu. I think that's what even today, when I was just thinking, what is it about your music that strikes me the most? I was just thinking that even if I close my eyes with no actor, no actress around, I can feel the music. Your music has the emotion, it carries the emotion, which is so amazing. And I think it comes with a lot of experience. It comes with a lot of thinking. Your intelligence and understanding of the whole thing, it adds. It definitely adds
It
to beyond that.
Sri, what happens is, what helps me, I'll tell you honestly, is that, and I'm indebted to nature for that, is it helps me realize that I am also one of the stories, and that's it.
Right.
I am not bigger than the story of life. I'm one of the stories of life. So therefore, what happens is that, for example, when I was doing Yahan, in Yahan, I remember Shujit Sharkar had told me that he wants a song where basically he wants the flavor of Kashmir. But it's a disturbed Kashmir now, but there is a hope of that beautiful Kashmir, which is not there, but everybody is dreaming for that. And I thought of that line, Raksaya di jive, Rab rakhwala jive. Now, this comes from that belief that Kashmir is so beautiful. How can I musically create that purity? Now it's the filmmaker's job to take that pure song and put it against a war zone. And that's when it becomes cinema.
Right.
But it is this, what nature does is keeps on reminding me that I am one of the stories. That's it. I'm not more, not less. And trust me, Sree, and you know this, you're editor of one of the most beautiful
I think our
wildlife
SaevUs
and
also
conservation
started.
magazines.
Yeah, we also started with the storytelling.
In fact, I must tell the people who are watching this that there's a beautiful story of how I met Sree, Shantanu, all of these guys from SaevUs was being launched, and this is an amazing story. SaevUs was being launched, and Sandeep, their third partner, got to know that, and so they got through to me, not them. There was a intermediary bunch of people who wanted me to be part of this launch. I always, what I do is that whoever's idea, I don't like middlemen. I like to talk to the person directly. So I said that all this is great. I want to speak to Sandeep, who is initiating this. So I spoke to Sandeep directly. Within 5 minutes, I understood that these guys are going to be taken for a ride. And they will suffer badly if they keep on collecting celebrities like this. So out of love for nature and the fact that they were doing something amazing, I said that, hey, let's do one thing. Let's talk and I'll tell you how this works so that you know, then it's your decision. I think that's how I remember we met in that hotel, you, Shantanu, everybody went. We had this long discussion as how this works. And that is, it was purely to help this amazing bunch of people run this, who were launching this beautiful magazine. And it really started from there when I saw this honest bunch of people who wanted to make a difference in the world of conservation, photography, wildlife. And my thing was, how can I help without the celebrity tag? And here we are today as friends discussing this.
Always a friend, Shantanu. I mean, I have never even felt that there was a celebrity tag to you being associated with SaevUs. Whenever we have reached out to you, you have always said yes. I mean, I must say this over the last 8 years.
A lot of fans of mine who want to know this. Sree, just quickly, after engineering, you were working in a company, right?
Yeah. So I was working with Siemens. Quickly, okay. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was working with Siemens in their industrial automation division, and You will be surprised. So in those days, I was the only lady engineer in Siemens India, going into mines and factories and difficult situation. So after that, I started working with a software company. I completed my MTech from BITS Pilani, and then I was looking to change over a job and things like that when SaevUs happened. So when we were in Velavadar with Shantanu, this was we saw this morning hyena moving away with a kill. So we were like thinking that there's so much of stories happening in the wild, and there is a beautiful way we need to take it to people. And the whole idea was talk positive. Let's not do activism. Let's not say our policymakers are wrong. Let's not say that everything, the sixth mass extinction is coming. It's coming. Maybe there is a lot of trouble in paradise, but let's do something which takes the positive vibe. As you said, fall in love with nature. And we started. So when SaevUs was first given to me, my first idea was that it's such a creative endeavor. Creating a magazine, Shantanu, is like creating a song. It didn't
Absolutely.
exist. That
Magazine is
new
much
issue.
tougher. Magazine is much tougher.
No, but when you have that issue coming out, it's like your baby, a new baby,
Yeah.
coming out. So
Absolutely.
it was amazing. So it moved on from there. And initially, I had my self-doubt as to, because I'm not a trained naturalist, so I had a self-doubt whether this was right, whatever I'm doing, living my career. And then gradually I found that no matter where you are, you can find a place for yourself.
Lovely.
The,
That's
the
beautifully
leadership,
said.
the leadership position is always vacant. If you want to be a leader in whatever you do, you will find a way. And I think I found my way by storytelling, not only with the magazine. I think I found my way with children. So today, in 7 years, I have 50,000 children who actively participate with SaevUs. I have
Superb. That's
40,
fantastic.
40, 40 Rotary clubs in the country who work with us every year. So, I think somewhere, though a small bit, SaevUs in its own way has made a humble difference to the world of conservation.
Absolutely.
And to
Absolutely.
everybody here listening to us, I just want to tell you, if I can, so can you.
Absolutely.
I was a complete outsider to the world of conservation. So if I have been able to create a very, very small footprint, I'm sure you can do much better. But only one small correction. Shantanu has not left his job. Shantanu has his business in the US. So I just wanted to tell you.
That's good. No,
You mentioned.
no.
But he's a conservationist in his thought, he's complete.
I have seen how difficult it has been for you. I've seen you guys through this terrible time when you don't even know whether the next issue can come out or not. But
yes,
you didn't give up. You didn't give up.
We have been through hell. There has been points when we decided we have to close the magazine. But Sandeep and Shantanu have been, so strong by me and the way, and people like you, and we have tided over. And by God's grace, today we are very stable. SaevUs is stable and doing very well. I think when the world over magazines are closing down, we are holding our own. So that itself, I think, is a difficult thing.
One very important person in your SaevUs magazine, and thanks to that and my now life, is of course our common friend Dhritiman Mukherjee.
Oh yes.
Am I right?
He's a motivator. He was in my bedroom. Yeah. We were sitting in our bedroom when we decided that I will start working for SaevUs. So he has been a big reason.
And he has also been a big reason, a fantastic companion. He's crazy, as we all know, and he's mad and he's difficult. But this 100 Days in Himalayas would not have been possible. I would not have been able to do this journey. But he knows the route of 100 Days in Himalayas better than the route from my house to your house in Bombay. It's amazing how he becomes alive in the wild, in the offbeat.
He is one of a kind.
Yeah. And Sree, I think if I can get through to him,
yes,
it'll
absolutely.
be wonderful. I can just minute. I'll just dial.
It would have been unlikely, but it's lockdown, so he has to be at home.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. But also, I got to know that he was going to Sundarbans for the rescue operation.
Yes, he was in Sundarbans. He's come back and in quarantine for 14 days after that.
Aditi, dog. See if the network is good enough. Okay, try that. Okay.
Shantanu, till Dhriti comes in, I have a question for you.
Sure,
Why
sure.
100 days? Why was it this 100 days in the Himalayas? What's the significance? It's a big time. 100 days is a long time.
I've never got that marks in my school or college. I've always admired people who have got it.
That's a
People
good
like you
one.
who have got it. You guys are amazingly brilliant. So I had to have 100 in my name, and that. And honestly, Sree, I realized in 20 days in going to. It started with Ladakh, and Dhritiman took me in winters there. I realized that so much to see. I cannot take a 15, 20-day break between my work and go and see the Himalayas. It cannot work. And I also was conscious, Sree, that as I'm getting older, my agility, my physical fitness will also deteriorate. So time is now to see it. And therefore, I took this conscious decision to take 100 days off, which was scary because, Sree, you can understand it's like switching off my phone for 100 days. And in a
Yeah,
place like Bollywood, I can be out of
unbelievable.
context, completely out of
Unbelievable.
context.
Yeah.
But I weighed that, and I weighed that. I said that if I was, and this is what I thought, and I want people who are watching this, if they can think like that, that if today was my last day on this planet Earth, was my last day, I know today I'm going to die. What would I rather have an experience in my life? I'm doing movies, and all this is great, but that is something I've never done. So if I can do that and forget everything else, I would trade off anything for that. And I think that clarity, that if the problem happens, Sree, when we have a lot of time, we think, "Arey, we have 25, 30 years, so we'll do this." No, if we immediately shorten down the time period, that we have 2 months to live, what would you rather do? The decisions become very clear. I think I can see Dhritiman. Let me see if I can
Is there?
get
He's
him inside.
joined.
And let's see. Oh my God. The
Hi,
man.
hi, Dhriti. Hi, Dhriti.
Hello, hi guys. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes,
Yes,
you can.
perfectly. For people who are watching this is the legendary and elusive as a snow leopard, Dhritiman
Absolutely.
Mukherjee. Dhritiman Mukherjee, but we are
But
very happy that he is there. Dhriti, tell me.
Shantanu, the truth is,
Huh.
no. But I want to say the truth is, I'm not elusive. Actually, like in last this 2 months of lockdown, a lot of my friends requested me to come online, and I just avoided. They will beat me today if they see me here. And
So hide
the
him, hide
reason
him.
is I
Let
was
me
not
hear his
busy.
voice.
No, nothing. I was not busy. It's not like that. I don't get time. Actually, I'm very much afraid of coming here. I mean, online because I don't know
That's
what
why
I'll
I compared
face.
you to a snow leopard.
I talk stupid, and I don't know. I have no control. So you have to actually control me. I mean, you
Sree
need
is good
to
with
know
that.
where I have to stop.
I'm going to be the control rod in this case.
Dhriti, just quickly before we start talking with you, because we have just gone through Amphan cyclone in Kolkata. You've been
Yeah.
to Sundarban. What is happening out there, and where are you now?
Yeah, so I went to Sundarban for just for 2 days, and I'm back. Uh, so like 5 days back, I went there on Saturday, last Saturday, and Sunday I came back. So when I went there, it is after like 5 6 days, and I went to the northern part of Sundarban. So southern part is much more damaged. I mean, lot of areas are under water in South 24 Pargana division, but in the northern part, there are also few villages are still underwater. Some embankments are broken. So that is the problem. Like sometimes when the houses are broken or trees are uprooted, so that can be managed. But when these embankments are broken, the salt water enter into the cultivated land, and that actually is like next 5 6 even 9 years they can't cultivate in those lands. So it's a matter of like long problem for their livelihood. It's a huge problem. So I visited the northern part and 2 3 places where the people were stuck in the water, and we gave some food. But these all are temporary measure. I feel like we need more long-term solutions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's the
You
situation
have
now.
plans to go back again?
Uh,
You have plans to go back?
Now I am quarantined because I was a bit exposed there, and in my home, so all are like diabetic patient, some elderly people. So I am just in a one room. I'm in this room for last 5 days, completely quarantined
Makes sense.
because I don't know. I mean, like I have no symptoms, but
Precaution. Yeah, it's
better
good.
to,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
No, it makes sense.
So, Sree, you have Dhritiman and me, and
Yes.
you have our journey. So you
So,
can direct
yeah.
questions.
So I think this is something that I don't need a question to really initiate. You guys have done something fabulous, spending 100 days in the Himalayas and connecting the nature, people, and music. And I would like to know, how was the concept? How did the concept originate? How did the two of you think of creating this kind of a memory in the Himalayas?
Dhriti?
You're asking me, Sri?
Yeah.
Anybody?
So there are few reasons why it will be a long answer, but
We'll
I
make it
want
short.
to you. Yeah, but
It's okay. Let's let it out.
No, but I mean, there are many reasons, but one reason I want to mention first because I would like to take this opportunity to share something else because today is World Environment Day, and this is a good opportunity to share that view. So we like when we the photographers, like especially the nature photographer, we share the images, and our one of the major goals are to send the message of conservation, and we spread awareness. But have you noticed that most of us, what we do, we show the photographs to the photographers or the people who are already connected in nature. So like naturalists, maybe the people who are connected with wildlife tourism, scientists, photographers, so all are already connected. So photographs, any kind of visuals, so photography, film, so they have a very strong, huge strength to connect the disconnected people, the people who are not actually interested in this because they're not connected. So we can connect them emotionally with the help of these visuals. But the problem is, so that what I one of the reasons, the problem is we share those images in an echo chamber, so same people, so it is rotating among the same people. So that was one of the major reasons where I wanted to be with Shantanu. So I don't love to travel with anyone.
He is
So
a
there are
solo
few
traveler.
reasons. So
He has been a solo traveler
uh,
always. This
yeah,
was a very
actually, people
special
will
time.
get to know that I don't. Yeah, because then people get to know that I do nothing in the field, so I will be caught. So that's why I avoid. But when I met Shantanu, so I liked him much. So and we actually Shantanu forgot that we went to Andamans for diving. So he finished his diving course with me. So we had spent a long time, long chat, and we were planning to do something else. But back of the mind, this reason was working up, very strongly because now think Shantanuda has a audience and they're actually common people. Like we are in the niche area. So the people who know us, it's a not if you compare the number in a country like India, like 1.3 billion, maybe 1 or 2 million people are connected with these natural activities. So they know me. So whatever we are doing, those things are reaching to that minimum, that tiny number of people. So Shantanuda has the other part, the complementary number of the population. So this is a huge opportunity. So if we can tag along, then and we can because the 100 days in Himalaya, it was not only the cultural trip. There was I mean, a lot of species oriented, nature oriented goals were there. So that was a huge opportunity that we can send the message to those disconnected people who are, and that number is huge, who are connected with Shantanuda. So this is, I always felt I should have taken this opportunity to connect other part of, I mean, other number of people in our country. So that is, I mean, the major reasons. And then, of course, I want to, in life, if you I was doing the same work for last 20 years. So if you want to get some change in your, in output, you need to put some changes in your life. So that is another thing. So being with someone who is different personality, different who does different activities, and Shantanu is very well read, and I mean he's a fantastic friend to be with. So that gives lots of enrichment for me. So it's a all selfish trip actually. So it's like my personal goal was there, and the bigger goal was to connecting the people. So it's
So
a
Dhriti
selfish.
said something very interesting. He said that your inputs were helping him and his inputs were helping you. So Shantanu, how do you think the synergy helped in creating a better output from both of you, both you and Dhriti? Because it's a very interesting thing said.
What actually came out in this trip was that I am basically people's person. As I told you before in this interview, that I love stories of people. And Dhriti loves stories which the nature and wildlife is unfolding. Two people are searching stories, but both are seeking the stories from different species. Okay.
Right.
Over the years, because of my concentration on people, I was oblivious to other stories from other species. And over the years, Dhriti's concentration on nature and wildlife, he was oblivious to the people stories. Okay. What happened when we both met, as we went across, we realized that from his perspective, from his wildlife, the way he looks at it, he can actually look at a people story very differently than what I am doing. And I can look at a wildlife extremely differently than he's doing. A different perspective, a different camera angle. I'll give you a small example. This is so I must tell you one thing, that this great photographer, naturalist, in this 100 days Himalayas, probably 3 things I have seen: a crow, a cow, and maybe I don't know, something else. That's it. I've seen nothing. He has been able to show me nothing. So first reality check was that wildlife and nature is not a zoo. You could spend a lot of time, money, effort, but nobody cares. It is quite possible you can spend 12, 15 days and you will see nothing. So actually, Dhriti also was feeling bad that he's got me, kuch, there's a responsibility he has. So I still remember that this was, we were in Amra Kotha Chilamre from Land Rover, Northeast. So,
Singalila.
Singalila.
Singalila
National Park.
We are looking for panda actually.
Panda. So what happened is now 4 or 5 days, it's raining, and the panda kuch nahi dikh raha. And he's like feeling bad. Kya karega? So in the meanwhile, what's happening to me is this a beautiful tea stall where we are staying in the night also. And I'm a people's person. So I'm observing the relationship between the husband, wife, the kid, what are they doing, what are they talking. I'm looking at that. Dhriti is concentrating on panda, jo nahi mil raha. So finally, on the 4th day, I can see Dhriti is he's not saying it, but I can make out that he's saying that, I'm sorry, and I'm telling Dhriti, it does not matter, because the stories that I'm getting here of the people, and the point here is that those stories became my concert later on, the 100 Days Himalayas concert.
Oh, it was amazing, amazing.
So the thing is that I think what we taught each other is that there are stories both in the human beings and in the nature which surrounds it. Ye nahi mila to ye hai, ye nahi mila to ye hai. But something or other is constantly there because we both represent 2 different fields, and that was the biggest revelation for me in this trip, was the fact that a lot of times somebody's asked me, what is the methodology of a wildlife photographer? I have not met many, Sree, because I'm not from that world. I've met only one, whose name is Dhritiman Mukherjee. And I realized that he does not click a photograph as an instinct. He studies the animal, the habitat as an instinct. The camera doesn't work as an instinct. after deeply studying, understanding what's happening around, and this important thing to say for a lot of young people who are watching this and who are inspired by Dhritiman, that the knowledge that Dhritiman has about the place, that's why, like a good batsman, like Sachin Tendulkar's batting, his knowledge of that bowler gives him a split-second advantage over any other batsman. That is why he's one of the world's greatest batsmen. Dhritiman's advantage of that knowledge gives him a split-second advantage before anybody else as to what will be the next move of that animal. He is not reacting, he's preempting. That is what my biggest learning was.
But Dhritiman, I think there's another very special thing that in my interactions with him I've observed is that he always tries to be part of that natural world. I mean, he would go to any extent to be one with them. You remember Dhriti in LRK when we had those fox cubs where Sandesh and everybody was there during our first launch, SaevUs launch. Do you remember?
Yeah, in March.
In
March, no? 2012.
So I remember everybody was waiting there to take the cubs your images, and you were sitting in the hotel, and you said they will come out at 9:15. I don't believe it that at 9:15 we had those little cubs coming out, and I think Sandesh got a photo which won him the Nature's Best, right? It got him the Nature's Best award.
Yeah. It was a winner.
I don't know if anybody knows, but Dhriti was having breakfast with people and people call up Dhriti. From the near the den, saying, Dhriti, we are not able to see the cubs. She said, no, savana ko bahar aayega. This guy is telling. So that is Dhritiman, he becomes one with the surroundings to be able to click. One is he's, I think, very brave. I mean, some of his shots are something, very, very scary and not many people could do it. But second thing is his understanding of the natural history, of the habitat, and his oneness with the environment. That, I think, is a big high which makes Dhritiman what it is.
Dipankar Ghosh is writing, Dhritiman Mukherjee has taken nature photography to legendary levels. We have been chatting for a long time. I think it's a World Environment Day. So I just want to sing this 4 lines of this song, which is very close to me, which is really about, I think it's about us and them. All of us, we make the planet. So I've always imagined that we as the human species is talking this to all the nature around us. बिन पूछे तेरा नाम और पता रस्मों को रखे परे 4 कदम बस 4 कदम चल दो ना साथ मेरे बिन कुछ कहे बिन कुछ सुने हाथों में हाथ लिए 4 कदम बस 4 कदम चल दो ना साथ मेरे राम नरे धराई रे लड़ाई रे रे 4 कदम बस 4 कदम चल दो ना साथ मेरे. How beautiful if all of us could do that just together, 4 steps together. Yeah.
And this was another profit for me in the inter-treat. So we had a lot of musical, like in the before the pass in 16,000 feet in the tent. So it's like too much of snowing. It's very cold. Suddenly Shantanu playing his ukulele.
Who gets to have this kind of an opportunity? Anybody will go to the Himalayas if you tell him that Shantanu Moitra with his guitar is somewhere around.
You remember this photograph, Dhriti?
Shantanu, you show me the number 1 photo. I want to share one thing with everyone.
Will you make it bigger?
Like this
I don't know.
Then one of us have to. We have to. I'll have to.
You hide me.
No. Okay, I'll just hide you for a minute. Let me get the photograph first.
The Ladakh photo number 1, 110 photo. You have that?
Let me just hold on.
1.
10 photo inside where that inside where they were cooking, that making the tea.
No. Just only a tent, nothing else. Just a black tent. Ladakh 1.
Actually, what is happening is that. Is it this one? Is it this one?
No, not this one. Not this one. Not this one.
Okay.
Its name is Ladakh One. So yeah, you
Okay.
just check it. I'm just telling this. I mean,
I can see. I can see that. I can see that.
it's a white and the black tint only. The white
Poonam
background.
Shubhita.
I don't see it here. I have just this in a tent.
Mondira.
Yeah. So
Thank
this
you
is
so
also
much for
the
joining
same. So
in.
yeah, okay. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
Say
I
the
can
story. Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. This is from our first trip.
Sharada,
I
hi.
mean, from Ladakh. Sree, listen this thing. I mean, this is a very interesting story.
Yes,
So this
I
is
want to.
from our
But it would
first
be
trip.
better if you could have it bigger because
Then
No,
you
no,
listen.
no.
I'm
I
hiding
mean,
you. Hmm.
yeah. So the what happened? Like this is from our first trip in Ladakh, and I was with Shantanu in Andamans, but I never knew. I mean, I did not have any idea how strong he is. I mean, like I had some confusion because we went to Ladakh during winter, and it's full winter. And this photo is from Sokar, and Sokar is means like 15,200 feet altitude, and the temperature was like minus 23, 24. Yeah, outside like minus 30 actually. You just
Correct.
bring that photo.
Yeah. This one.
Shantanu, yeah, this photo. Yeah, so you just check this if you can see the watch. This is inside our tent. The the funny thing was I had some doubt. I was thinking like in this difficult situation if Shantunuda can survive or not, and that test was like that. I mean, it will define our entire trip because according to that I have to fix the trip. So, unfortunately, when we went to soccer, we carried the tent, but we forgot the outer of the tent, and which is like suicidal. I mean, like in minus 30 outside, and if you're pitching a tent without outer, it's like it's really dangerous actually. So you can see this is during even evening, I think, and inside the tent, the temperature was minus 22. So whole night I was almost awake and I was checking if Shantunuda was breathing or not. I mean, if he is alive or not. And fortunately, he was alive. And I became very much sure that this guy can complete the trip. I mean, he is not like a because so we are from a different background, different like we had some idea that a guy from Bollywood and he has some different lifestyle. If he can survive with the difficult, the situation, I had full of confusion. But after this night, he passed it like completely, and
You
then
guys
I
have a
was.
very you guys have a very twisted image of my industry.
It is. I mean, it's true. I mean, I know it is not because all the the actors and the actors from the Bollywood, they are super fit. Actually, they are much fit than us because they need to do so many workout and they do a lot of things. So I know that, but this is a like a bad perception, you can say. And again, you were for the music like soft things, like you know. So I thought.
What photograph should I show next, Dhriti? Which one should I show? Let's show this. I love this. Tell this. What was happening to the lake?
yeah, tell us
Yeah,
the
so
story.
that is the next day. So this is on the next day. So even in the morning when the sun was up, the temperature was even minus 16, 17. So our vehicle was not was starting. So we had to heat up the engine with the help of this fire. You can see the driver is actually hitting the everything actually every parts of the vehicle to start
Correct.
the engine. Yeah,
Correct.
but.
I'll keep on
Yeah, so it
showing some
was
of the photographs so that see this is also there in I think Sokar only this shot.
Wow.
This is I was talking about. So this is the tent where we stayed, and you can see the completely frozen Sokar Lake in front, and this is the outer list tent.
So Sree, he has taken
And
me for the first time.
I know that.
Think about it.
And you went back after the whole trip. You kept going back. You know how many trips you all have done?
Because I realized that this cannot get worse from here. It can only get better.
yeah.
This is killing the cat in the first night.
Yeah, I mean, inside minus 22 is really insane. I'm telling you, it's insane. Like when we stay in the, proper in tent or in the houses, in like, whenever we go to, say, Spiti. So same altitude, like Kiber village, or even in comic, which is we went to comic in summer actually later. Weather altitude is again like 15,000 plus, and during winter also it's very cold. But inside the house, it's not minus 22. It's much warmer. So that
Can,
way, it is really it was challenging.
but
So
Sree, this guy is so
yeah,
crazy that in that frozen situation, that like actually you're dying, this guy decides to do under river photography. Under river photography. When at minus 30, I don't want to have a glass of water also. I don't want to be. He wants to take me to the river to under. And I have a photograph of. This is like madness, man. I don't know how.
actually, I'm going to
Look at this.
actually.
It's frozen. He's going to go inside that river to shoot.
And you did it,
Actually, I
Dhriti?
want to.
He did it. And
Yeah, so I know. See, I want to disclose the truth actually. So when we went there, so it was like, I mean, like I didn't disclose that I did the diving in frozen under frozen Baikal or frozen White Sea in Russia, but that I did after this. That I didn't tell to Shantanu. So when I went for this, this under ice activities in frozen Zanskar and Indus, you can see I was wearing a dry suit. So that dry suit actually I bought it for the Russia trip, but I didn't disclose Shantanu that I'm not trained because that time
Oh
I
my
was not
God.
trained or anything. So because I just wanted to do this actually, I wanted to see what happened during winter under the frozen surface of the river. I wanted to see if the fishes are alive. So we saw lots of algae and other stuff. Some crustaceans were there.
and
So I
if you
was
can
We
if you
went,
can
what do you
see.
mean we? He also went?
No, I didn't go
What is
underwater
we?
because you can see I am looking at him as if he's an alien. Look at my expression.
But just tell me, did he brief you that such things were possible before you left for the trip? Did he
No,
warn you that things
and
could go so bad?
thank God for that because I knew
Yeah.
when I was with him that the unexpected that was the deal, but I was astounded. I must say that in all this madness that it does, this is the kind of photograph that it creates. That's what it did underwater.
This is something. It is something else.
It
yeah.
is
That's what I was
This
amazing.
is
telling
under
you.
Zanskar.
That you have
This is
taken it to a
amazing.
different level altogether. I mean, this is something.
So
No, I mean,
ball.
yeah. No, I know. I was very much interested to see this, like under the frozen river. But actually, I was going to be trained for ice diving in next March. So I did it in February. We went there in February. Shantanu, you remember? And I went to
Correct.
Russia in end of March actually, or April, week of April, or no, end of March. So I got trained there in March, but I did it before that. So it's like let's do it fast, then I will learn it because I have no patience of
Why did
seeing.
you even do the training if you were already able to do it? What was the training for?
No, it's very
But-
complex thing. I mean, like interior
Yeah,
diving, like you are. So
Okay.
when we go under ice, so it's like a lot of things. So you have to manage your dry suit, you have to manage your BCD. Then you are tied with a rope because we cut the ice, we make a hole over the surface.
Yeah,
If it is a frozen lake or river or the ocean, so we cut a hole and go inside. So if we lose the hole, because if it is ocean, if it is sea, it's completely dark because the surface is opaque. It's not transparent because of salt water. Like in Baikal, the surface is in many places is transparent because of fresh water.
There's some light
But in
coming.
yeah, so there is no light inside the sea. So if you lose, I mean, if you're lost, if you don't find the hole, you have to stay under the ice actually for entire life. So we always tied with a rope. So you have to manage the rope. You have to put signals to the guy who is managing the rope on the top, and then you have a huge camera. So it's like you are managing BCD. You are managing. Managing means you are controlling the buoyancy. I mean, the air inside the BCD and inside the. So you put air inside the dry suit also. The dry suit also works as a buoyancy controller or temperature. It maintains the temperature also. So you're managing air with two things, and then you have two regulators which may freeze during the, and if it freezes, then there is a free flow. Free flow means like
Dhriti,
if
it's
the
getting
air is
scary.
coming
It's
inside
getting scary. So we will shift
yeah.
the gears
No,
now. So Shantanu,
no,
I
but the
wanted to
thing
ask
is
you a
that,
question.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so there were many
Yeah.
interesting
So
people you have met during these 100 days. Would you like to share about some of them with everybody watching this?
Um,
Because I was at your NCPA concert, and you had spoken about some of them.
so I
So if
think
you,
one important story that I want to share on a World Environment Day, and this is my favorite story, and I always share it with people. It's the snow leopard story, which basically is that in that photograph that we saw in Soker, after that next day morning when we were going, we stopped by hutment of Changpas who are high altitude shepherds, and there Dhriti had already suspected there was a snow leopard attack. And when I went there, I saw this amazing lady sitting out there. It was a lovely sunny morning. For a sunny morning, at minus 30 degrees Celsius temperature and white and just gorgeous view. And this lady was sitting with a kid. And I wanted to ask so many questions about the Changpas to them. How do they survive in this temperature? This, that, yeah, well. But as I went closer, I saw 5 red blots near her hutment, and Dhriti told me, "Kal ki ratri snow leopard attack hoyeche. There's been a snow leopard attack." The snow leopard has taken one of those sheep, but has killed 5. So you have to understand, Sree, that from an artist's perspective, a very beautiful picture has suddenly been demolished by something which is very ugly. The sight of 5-6 sheep mutilated bodies is not a very, and I'm not trained, just like all of you guys are. I'm not trained to see that. So anyway, the point is that with the help of my guide, we were talking to this lady, and I naturally was, Dhriti was concentrating somewhere else, was talking somewhere else. So I was with this lady, and I asked her. I was aware, Sree, that millions and millions of dollars are spent in this region to have a sighting of the snow leopard. And my thought came to me that the same snow leopard, behind which so much money is being spent, has completely made this family complete pauper. For a Changpa woman, 5 sheep being killed is like your and my house being just finished off tomorrow, or my bank calling up to saying that you're some problem, your money doesn't exist. What was intriguing was she was just calm. She was peaceful. And then when I asked her that कि इतना पैसा खर्च होता है स्नो लेपर्ड के पीछे, वही स्नो लेपर्ड ने आपको बेघर कर दिया है, तो आपको कैसा लग रहा है ये? And she looked at me and said कि ये तो उनका घर है, हम तो मेहमान हैं. And Sree, the enormity of what she just, this simple, uneducated woman, what she told me just blew my mind off, where she was basically saying that this is his land. He was hungry, so he came. I'm a tenant in his land. The clarity with which she told me, in spite of her house being completely finished, I think this is the greatest example of conservation. Of man versus animal conflict, of being together. We in the city, for us, it's always us and them. And here it's a very important point to make, is at the same time, we are getting to know what happened to that elephant, which was pregnant.
Exactly, I was about to say that.
Think about it. That here are 2 stories from India. One where that species has done a damage, but this person understands that this is how it is. And in other places, we are putting crackers in a pineapple, giving to a food. This is nothing about conservation. It's about the human being. Let's not draw some great inferences from this. We are human beings are crooked. We are dysfunctional. That is why it's very important that like-minded people, Vidya Chopra keeps on telling me, कि if ever you find like-minded people in your path of life, hold those hands closely, which is where SaevUs, which is where Sree, which is where Dhritiman, which is where your whole people who love wildlife conservation, hold your hands very tightly, because we need each other, because we are absolutely dealing with a species, the human being, who is twisted. Otherwise, who would do that? And that is the biggest human story for me, when I think about 100 Days in Himalayas.
So, you have seen the extremes of this. And it's
Yeah.
the same human being when pushed to the wall, his resilience breaks down. So,
But I will change the mood slightly, just to say in all this thing, in all this, I've seen some beautiful places. This is on the way to Masar Top. Sree, it was horrible.
Malipas.
It was
on the way to Malipas, huh?
Yeah, Malipas.
Malipas, yeah.
It was scary, but it was one of the most divine views I've ever seen in my life. In all this,
we want to hear something from you about on the
guitar. I will do that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to do is share this photograph, which was in Tibet, and you can see that there is a meandering thing. It's the road. This is in Tibet. It goes all the way to Everest Base Camp. It's one of the most surreal things, and from the Tibet side, the Everest is clean. There's no other mountain. From India side, there is Lhotse Nutse in front, but from Tibet side, it's a clean mountain, and it's. I want to go back, Sree. I wish I could go back. In this lockdown, I see many often I see these photographs and I feel, oh my God, what have I done? How did I do it today? When even I can't even step out of the house. So keeping that in mind, I thought I'll just sing this song for many of my Bengali friends. The song is called Ferari Mon. আলো আলো রং জমকালো চাঁদ ডুবে যায়, চেনা শোনা মুখ জানা শোনা ছুঁয়ে যায়, ফিরে ফিরে গুম ঘিরে ঘিরে গান রেখে যায়, কিছু মিছু রাত পিছু পিছু টান ডেকে যায়, আজও আছে গোপন ফেরারি মন, বেজে গেছে কখন সে টেলিফোন, গুড় গুড় রিং রং পেন্সিল জোছনার জল, ধুর গুরু কাঁচ আগুন ছোঁয়াজ হেঁটেছে আগুন, অবসরে বন নারা 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 না, আহা দারা নারা 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 নারা, আগুন ছোঁয়া দেখেছে অচলা, ফুটপাতে বীর আগুনের নার ধরেছেন নাই, দেখা ছিল হেঁটে যাব ছায়া আজও আছে গোপন ফেরারি মন, বেজে গেছে কখন
Lovely. Shantanu,
One
you
of my
also have
favorite albums, actually. I mean, so many times I just heard these songs in loop, especially in a flight. From this,
beautiful.
all the songs, yeah.
Dhriti, tell them the story of that Solbert.
Oh yeah. So actually, there is two stories, Shantanu, not only one.
Okay.
So
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. So the first story, when the first story happened, that time I didn't know you. So that was in 2013. I was in Papua, and
Okay.
we were in a rainforest, and we had a completely like draining, very much engaging trip inside the forest in the evening time. So it's like West Papua. It's a very interior area. We were coming out of the rainforest, and we got the first house. I mean, just outside the forest. And then I suddenly I heard some known tune, and I went close to the house, and there was a Bahati was Hawasa Tavo. I mean, there's a 3 Idiots song there.
In Papua New Guinea.
Oh my God!
In Papua,
Bolcho.
yeah.
Wow.
And
wow.
and this is in 2018. So I went to Svalbard. I was also I went to.
A lot of people don't know where Svalbard is. Please tell them where Svalbard is.
Yeah, so Svalbard is in
Don't
Arctic,
assume
and it's
everything
north
that you
of,
know people know. Okay, so tell them what it is.
so Svalbard is north of Norway, and it is all. So where we were, it was like 78-degree north latitude. So it is close to North Pole, we can say. I mean, it's still far, like 1,300 kilometers, but it's in the Arctic Circle, even far north. And we were in a sailboat, small boat, like eight people, and the captain was very, he was an amazing guy. So so when I entered into the ship, and this captain came to know that I'm an Indian. So he told actually that his favorite song is Jubi Dubi, and he played it in the boat. I,
Shantanu, can we
and
hear
it
two
was
lines
like
from
all over
you?
the ice. Actually, I sent the video also. I took that the captain was
Oh,
dancing with the
wow.
video. So when we entered into the, yeah, so it's like listening Jubi Dubi in Svalbard in a sailboat.
But that's the thing
Everywhere
of
there was ice.
Bollywood. It's everywhere.
That's
Wherever
the power
conservation
of,
has
yeah.
wherever conservation has not reached, वहाँ पे the Bollywood song has reached. So therefore, if both can come together,
It's true.
it'll be so beautiful. You know.
It's true.
So in memory of your stalwart ship
Yes,
captain.
yes.
गुनगुनाती है हवाएं, गुनगुनाता है गगन, गा रहा है ये सरादम, जुबिडू param pam. Many mothers have told me that thanks to this song, the children eat. So I dedicate this song to all the young toddlers who otherwise
So
don't like
sweet.
to eat. So during this, when the mothers play this song, they apparently eat it where it says, Subi dooby, pampara, subi dooby, param pam. Subi dooby, nache, kyun pagal, stupid man. Subi dooby, pampara, subi dooby, param pam. Subi dooby, nache, kyun pagal, stupid man. शाखों में पत्ते गा रहे हैं, फूलों पे भंवरे गा रहे हैं, दीवानी किरणें गा रही है, ये पंछी गा रहे, बगिया में फूलों की हो रही है गुफ्तगू, जैसे फिल्मों में होता है, हो रहा है हूबहू, आई 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 डूबी जुबी पंपारा, जुबी डूबी परम्बम. Zubi dooby, nache, kyun pagal, stupid man. I can imagine the shock of Dhritiman's place in a beautiful place like Svalbard. Suddenly, when you can hear Zubi dooby.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think
it's like
I'm proud and I'm so.
It's like iceberg. Shantanu, it's like icebergs, polar bear, walrus, and lots of Arctic birds, and suddenly Jubi dooby. I mean, it was amazing.
So,
No, but
no, I was just saying that is why sometimes when you see beauty of nature, you have lots of words. That's why it's Zubi dooby. There's no meaning. It's just.
no, that's
just
what,
that.
because your songs are reaching people beyond the lyrics. People who are not able to understand the lyrics are still loving your song.
Thank
So
you
that's
so
the power of music,
No,
It's
see, I'm telling you, in my experience, Bollywood really is very popular all over the world. Wherever I went, like in Fiji, like 98% songs in the car are, I mean, like Bollywood song. In
and
Indonesia,
there is so much we can
especially in
use.
Southeast Asia. Even I'm telling you, so another funny.
While you're telling stories, I'm showing some photographs so that people know.
Yes,
Guys,
yes,
this is Everest Base Camp. I've gone to Everest Base Camp 4 times. I've done trekking twice, but this was the shortest. Took a chopper and went there, and the pilot just allowed us 5 minutes time because of altitude. But it was one of the most gorgeous mornings, and this is one of the selfie moment. We have hardly taken photographs for each other, but this is one of them. And you can see Mount Everest behind, which is like this is one of those great days. I just love this. There's another one which I will. These are selfie moments in life. This is Nubra Desert. So suddenly we said, let's do
wow.
this. so so it was a moment
This was
of
in sync? Yeah.
this was just beginning of 100 days. I didn't know what was in
Coming.
store for me. There are no such joyous photographs later on in the trip. This is the last of them. But another very, very emotional photograph I have. Before that, I'll show this one. This is, where was this, Dhriti? Do you remember?
This is in Nepal.
Nepal. Correct.
This is in Nepal. This is Zomsum.
Okay. But I remember a very interesting moment, Sree, that when my 100 days in Himalayas were getting over, we are getting out of Arunachal and getting into Guwahati. And I remember it was a sunset. I was a little quiet because I realized, I don't know why, Sree, that this probably will never happen to me again. Something else will happen. But without planning, without any agenda, this moment, that 100 days I spent in the Himalayas with Dhritiman, will never happen again. And I was sad that it was getting over, because it was my mind was just blown open by the beauty of the Himalayas, the people, the nature, and everything. And I remember as we were coming out of the Himalayas, and Dhriti said that, Shantanu, this is the last, as we get into the plains, there was a place where we stopped. It was sunset. We got out of the car, and it was almost like a very cinematic moment where we got out, looked at the setting sun, and impromptu, Sree, both of us did this. We created 100 with our hands.
Oh, this is very,
this
very
was
emotional.
a very, very, I think I had moist eyes.
This is a very emotional moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, both of us having done, so many people we met, and this was as the sun was setting, a new day would start, but this was getting over. It was a beautiful moment.
It's over the Brahmaputra, actually. It's from Mishmi Hills.
Yes. Yeah.
So, from Arunachal, actually. So you can see the...
Yeah. Sree, I just want to tell you that very important thing is that we're going to wrap this up now. We have more than an hour, but in another 10 minutes we'll wrap this up. I just want to say one thing, that Sree, I have realized in my journey in life so far, every work that anybody does is important. Everybody. There is no small or big. Okay. But what is big is the thinking. I could be just doing a very simple work all my life, but I have met people, and I must tell you these stories. They always remember. A husband wife from a very lower middle class family in Maharashtra. I'd gone for birding in the morning, and in a cycle, both of them came with a tiffin, and they had no biolocker, no photography. They just stood in there, and obviously I could make out from the conversation that both of them knew birds like this. They were obviously not very well off street. So, as usual, I got talking to them, and I asked them, said, how long have you been doing this? He said, from the time we are married, and they would have been married now for 40, 45 years. Then this guy told me an amazing thing. He said, पिक्चर अगर जाना होता है आजकल तो बहुत पैसे लगते हैं, 400-450 रुपए लगते हैं, 500 में. हमको क्या है कि हम साइकिल में आ जाते हैं, पूरा दिन काटते हैं यहाँ पे. So he is saying, to be with the birds and environment and birding, it's so much cheaper for this poor family, and yet they're getting full entertainment. I had never thought of nature like this, Sree. I thought about big cameras and big lenses and big banner. You need nothing. Sree, you need nothing. Dhritiman, you need nothing. You just need interest. This old couple taught me that entertainment does not mean big money. Entertainment means passion and interest. And I think all of us who are there today on World Environment Day, we are very grateful that we have got an opportunity to make a difference, to make our voices heard. And I hope we can continue to do that. There'll be ups, there'll be downs, but this is the chosen path, whatever we do. And I insist and I request people who are watching this, there is no excuse say that we don't get time. No. A Sunday, 2 hours in the morning, just go out. And you will see a magical world out there. Don't go out now, but after the lockdown, when things are betting. And I think more than ever, we have understood in the lockdown that inside the house, beyond a point, cannot be as however bigger and however luxurious the house is, it does not stand a patch to the beauty of the nature which is there right in front of us. And many of us just go by without even looking at it. So I just hope on World Environment Day, on behalf of Sree, Dhritiman, all of us, that we continue to coexist, we continue to take care of others, and that snow leopard story, that we understand it is not just our planet, it is not just, the Hindi mein word is, ye hamare baap ka ghar nahi hai. And that's it. It's not my father's house.
We just take ownership. We just take ownership about the world around us.
Yeah.
And then we will automatically, do things that we need to.
And SaevUs is doing an amazing job. And Dhritiman, thank you for. Actually, guys, just want to tell you that we were doing a test call, me and Dhritiman, yesterday, so that everything is okay. And we landed up chatting for 1 hour.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Sree, if things go right, we shall do Brahmaputra together, me and Dhriti. We have been planning for a long time.
Absolutely.
And Dhriti, you want to say something, please?
Like the Brahmaputra trip? No, I mean,
no,
general.
Just, yeah.
Yes. Closing comments. Sum it up.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking for more things now. So already I'm in home for last 80 days, which is actually it's not giving me a bad feel in any case, but I'm very much eager to be in the field very soon. What I just want to continue with the what Sree said. So I was thinking that what should be the today's message, I mean, for all of us actually. So, and it is very importantly, it is ownership. So when we can honestly feel that this planet is ours. If this planet is ours, that means the everything. I mean, all the participants of this ecosystem, like all the rivers, all the mountains, all the birds, animals, and the people, all are ours. We are the owner. And then when we work for them, like when we do conservation work or any kind of activity for the nature, we don't feel that we are doing for others. We actually doing it for ourselves. So it's our work, it's our planet. We are doing it for ourselves. And when we can add responsibility with this, with the ownership, it becomes, the job is done. It becomes absolutely completed. So responsibility with ownership. So this is the thing I want to adopt. I'm trying to adopt actually for a long time.
What we'll do is really, I need a little help that Sree has by mistake logged on. By the time I wanted to say a proper goodbye. If is she calling? Is she calling?
She's calling, yeah.
Just tell her to log in again. Just tell her to log in. Log in again. Tell her to log in again. Yeah. She needs to tell her goodbye.
আবার log in করো. আবার করো.
So by the time she's logging in, can you tell the audience about one of his snow leopard moments, please? It'll be an interesting story. Quickly, tell a story about that famous photograph of both the snow leopards. Tell that moment.
The cub, I mean, mother and cub. No, I mean, the interesting moment was. The interesting moment was like the second snow leopard I photographed in Ladakh when actually I was doing some assignment in coast here in West Bengal coast. I was in Mandarmoni actually, so I was doing some coastal work, and then I got a news from snow leopard trust that one snow leopard made a kill, and I just came back. I just left the assignment. I thought, Jana do is assignment to my jata hu. So I was doing actually working for Lonely Planet that time. And then I came back home and I just flew to Delhi and next day caught a flight to Leh, and so from coast actually next day I reached 3,600 meter, which is Leh. And I did some acclimatization. My flight landed at 6:30, I can remember, and then I was lying down for half an hour. So I started at 7. So that was my all acclimatization time, and I went to Ule, and then I reached Ule after 2 hours. Then trekked for another 1.5 hours, and then I was in the hide. So within 1 o'clock, I was in front of the snow leopard.
Shantanu, can we share that photo? Dhriti, you have photos from your snow leopard? Can we share?
No, we can't load it now. It's
that photo. You can. No, if you show the cover, na, that
my cover, the SaevUs cover.
That is
the snow leopard one.
So that was from.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that is the one of them. Yeah.
One of the shots Dhriti had taken.
Anyway, you continue with the story.
So I was thinking that I will be. Yeah, so I thought I would be, sick. I mean, I would get altitude sickness, but I don't know how it happened. Nothing happened, and then I stayed with the snow leopard for next 10 days actually. So and that
only
was
Dhriti
experience.
But important point is that what I want the audience to understand is that the fact that you didn't take up the camera in the first moment. That's a very important thing. That immediately you didn't shoot. You waited for them to know you. This is the photograph.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Say that game. Say that. What is that waiting game? Knowing game. Talk about that.
Yeah. So this photo, I mean, especially so I was in a hide, and the snow leopard had some suspect that someone was there. So it was not sure. It knew something is there. Of course, they are much more sensitive than us, and I was very much comfortable in the sense I never make a lot of moves or very very silent, and there was no hurry. No hurry in me actually. So it was like 7-8 days. So on last day, the one day before, when the kill was almost finished, though I thought, I mean, snow leopard also would leave the kill. So I thought, let's check this relationship in the sense, like, every time snow leopard used to come to the kill, it used to stare at my hide, suspecting something is there, and it's an everyday occurrence. So it was like roaming around, going up, coming down, chasing away the fox or the magpie, but every time it gives a look at my hide. So that was the relation. Then on the last day I came out, and really the snow leopard, actually it was generally for snow leopard, they're super shy creature, and they would escape like anything. But when I came out, it was very comfortable and very slowly stood up and slowly moved away from me. So it gave me a feeling, oh, okay, so it was I mean, in last 7-8 days, invisible relationship was, it built up, and
awesome.
And that was an amazing moment.
I'm sure. This is what I was telling Sree and everybody, that it's not about picking up the camera. It's about knowing this. Sree, I'm sorry you got logged out by mistake. You're closing. You want to say something to wrap it up?
No, I think it was absolutely wonderful. And I think we are all trying to say the one and the same thing, that each of us in our own capacity, we are trying to, be a part of the conservation movement across the world. And I think each of you who's there here, join the chat, all my friends, I would just like to mention some of them: Deepa, Samir, Jawahar, Sree, Shudipta, all of you who have joined in, Shubhida, and everybody. Let's try and do something this World Environment Day. Just let us pledge and feel a part of the environment for the year to come. I think that itself is a starting point from where everybody, in whatever profession you are, you will find a way to do it. You will find a way once you feel a part of that environment.
Okay, guys, just before we wrap up, just for a lot of the people who are watching, on Sunday on NDTV, 7 to 9, the industry has come together to share that we care for Bengal, what's happening in terms of raising money, funds, this thing. So please watch. It's called Care for Bengal. 7 to 9 NDTV. It's a 2-hour non-stop show where the fraternities come together. So please watch it, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Shantanu,
thank you once again.
Time. Some closing
thank you
from you.
I think enough music has happened, but you're the host, so I have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sunshine. Sunshine. Hoping for some sunshine.
Let's. I never do this. I'll sing an English song, which I used to sing in school. Something which reminds me of the open skies.
Okay.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is older, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like the breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. All my memories gather around her, my blue lady, stranger to the water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky, missed a taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads. See you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. Goodbye, all of you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
I'm switching it
Bye.
off now. Bye.
See you all.
Bye.
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 Yes. Bye.
Stop.